there is footage of him just like holding on to a periscope, like
the periscope's
water.
turning around, just like looking at
like
stuff.
almost like they see him.
See each other. Whoa!
Say right off the bat that our music's dope, but if we just had John Williams score on top of this, it'd be so much better.
Someday, Shaun.
Maybe he'll do it for us one day.
Maybe.
Well, hello there, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Confused Breakfast Podcast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
I do.
The excitement of walking down the aisles, browsing the names and the artwork, and finally picking out the movie you're going to take home with you. Sure, it's hard to beat the ease of the modern era and streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your house, but there was something truly special about going to Blockbuster, slipping an R-rated VHS into the sleeve of a PG-rated VHS, tricking the teenager at the counter, and watching it when you got home.
Got 'em.
On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as keep you.
Yep.
I'm your host, North Dakota Schulte, and joining me as always, New Hampshire Pryor and Rhode Island Vens. How the heck are ya?
Nice. I'll take Rhode Island. I'll take Rhode Island all
R.I.
day,
Vens,
baby.
dude.
R.I. Vens. R.I.V.
I'm just glad Ham is in my name. Jean-Claude Van Hams.
New Hampshire Pryor. Yeah, I like that, man. Pretty
like
good,
it
huh?
a lot.
It's New Hampshire before.
Before we do start, though, I've it used to be a lot of jokes about like funny porn titles that were named after movies, like Forrest Hump. Have you heard of the one that I just heard about? In Diana Jones.
Diana Jones.
That's a good one, right?
Oh man!
Wow. I hope
that what we're doing today?
Yeah, we were just gonna make fun of Indiana Jones and talk about porn.
No, I was like we were reviewing that porn. Cause
Yes,
Raiders of the Lost
I
Ark.
watched the wrong one.
I've seen it plenty of times.
Plenty of time.
Well, boys, on today's episode, we discuss the 57th highest rated movie on IMDb, a movie that won 4 Oscars and was the highest grossing film of 1981 by a landslide. The only Indiana Jones movie to be nominated for an Oscar for Best Film. We are, of course, talking about 1981's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well, dang it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another nostalgic journey to the past with the Confused Breakfast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy wherever you are in the world. Take it away, boys.
Well, thank you, Lottie. One of the coolest ways to support this podcast is by joining our Patreon. You get extra perks. You get bonus weekly audio episodes just for you. You get access to a private Discord server. You get to give your modern day ratings for every movie we do, but also one of people's favorites. That top tier gets to vote on upcoming movies. We gave them 5 movies to choose from. Raiders of the Lost Ark was the unanimous choice with 53% of the vote. Fellowship of the Ring, 22%. Ocean's 11, 11%. Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, 8%. Mission Impossible 1, 7%. So you guys really wanted to finally see us dive into the Indiana Jones
It's
world.
going to win every time. Was that yours,
I think
AJ?
that was mine. I
Like
wanted
a
to
beginning
start
of a franchise.
Yeah, I wanted a big franchise.
Yep.
So yeah,
And here we are.
Yeah,
and
love it.
actually, the new one comes out here in
It's
a couple days, or just
It's
out.
out.
So there you go. Good timing.
Hey-o.
If you want to influence the movies we review, go sign up. Patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. And if you are new to this podcast, we will be reviewing this movie with a completely modern eye, 40-something years later, scene by scene. But what we do is we talk about it nostalgically first. Got to talk about the first time we saw this movie, what our thoughts were as a kid. AJ, what about you, man?
When I was younger, all the Indiana Jones movies ran together for me. Like, it was really tough for me to discern which ones they were, and the only way I could was by the side characters. That's the only way I could actually decide which one it was. And so, that being said, I still was fascinated and enjoyed every single time I would see one come on. And then I finally started really breaking it down, and I found out, Raiders of the Lost Ark is the first one. Got it. Okay, neat. And I got to tell you, just creeped me the hell out, though.
Weird.
Just so much.
Are you
spooky.
serious? You were scared of this
There's
movie?
a lot of spooky stuff going on,
obviously rated
guys.
R movie being PG.
Yeah, apparently that's not good for an 11-year-old. I don't know when I first saw it, but That being said, I always liked Indiana Jones, the adventure aspect of Indiana Jones, because I love that. I love that adventure vibe. So that being said, I will still give this as a kid 6.85.
No, that's wrong. Shaun, how about you, man?
Yep.
Kind of the same. This is a movie that I watched with my dad when he was staying with my aunt and uncle at the time, and that's where I learned how to play Ghost in the Graveyard, that kind of story. And along with like Creepshow and Last Action Hero, we watched this movie and it creeped the shit out of me, especially the melting scene. But I gotta say, I watched Temple of Doom way more than I did this movie for some reason, starring our Academy Award winner Ke Kwan. And rewatching this made me really want to go back and watch Temple of Doom because I think it is my favorite. But with this at the time, I would have to say I'm gonna give this a 6.2.
For me, guys, I actually remember watching this at my cousin's house with family, like aunts and uncles and stuff. It had just come out in 81. I was born in 82. They had it on VHS. They popped it in. I might have been 5 or 6. This was way, way too spooky for me. Melting faces, wells of souls, poison dates. I can't eat dates anymore.
Yeah, shit.
Very
Nazis.
dangerous. Nazis.
I don't. My God, I did not like this movie, and I would only see it on television from time to time, and it would always come up to a scary part. I'd be like, nope. So I maybe didn't fully watch this other than that first viewing until maybe like college again. So I have to give it a 3.5 nostalgically. Like it not for me. And also, fun fact: did you know that even though chronologically this is the first one, that Temple of the Doom happened before this?
It's a prequel.
So
I had no idea.
No one knew that. This is before podcast. Before people would be like, it's a prequel, actually.
Happy birthday, by the way, Mike.
Thanks,
Happy
man.
birthday, Michael.
It's my podcast birthday.
Podcast birthday.
So, boys, that is going to take us nostalgically to a 5.52 nostalgically. Ugh. That's not good. If you're going to look at that in the grand scheme of things, that's bottom 10. We think that nostalgically Super Mario Brothers was better than this. And we think nostalgically that this was slightly better than Tremors is how we feel about that.
Oh, no.
I just can't have that.
No.
I just can't have this being worse than Super Mario Brothers. I just can't do. We have to write this wrong.
So let's review it with a modern eye.
Damn it.
Shaun, you're going to start us off then. Modern eye, you got to give us all the pertinent, important details of this movie so we can start forming that modern day opinion. What do you got?
Okay, unlike Airborne, this is a big one. There's a lot of information on this, and it's actually quite important and fascinating. So sit back and relax. Produced by Howard G. Kazanjian, Frank Marshall, Robert Watts, and George Lucas. Story by Philip Kaufman and George Lucas. Screenplay by Lawrence Kasdan. Cinematography by, oh my God, give me a sec here.
Carlton Winthrop, I think is his name.
Dude, nobody
right?
cares. Yep, that's it.
Carlton Winthrop.
Cinematography by Douglas Slocum. He also did the Indiana sequels, the Temple of Doom, and the one with Sean Connery. The Great Gatsby and Rollerball. Huh?
Like the old Rollerball or the Chris Klein
74?
Rollerball? Okay.
Yeah.
Chris Klein was definitely in Rollerball.
Oh, yeah. Music by John Williams, of course. Edited by Michael Kahn, of course, and directed by Steven Spielberg. Cast: Harrison Ford, Karen Allen, Paul Freeman, Ronald Lacey, John Ray Davies, Denholm Elliott, Alfred Molina, and Wolf Cowler. After finishing up his film American Graffiti, George Lucas was reminded of his love for the old adventure serials from back in the day, like Buck Rogers, Zorro's Fighting Legion, and Don Winslow of the Navy. Lucas wanted to make a B movie that was in the same vein of those serials, and he loved to call it The Adventures of Indiana Smith. Lucas wanted the character of Indy to be a professor and adventurer archaeologist, as well as the main villains to be Nazis with a fascination of the occult and occult objects. And that's actually loosely based off of Hitler himself being fascinated by the occult.
Yeah, this is that's true, right?
Yeah, he was kind of was all wooey woo about getting like witchcraft books and shit like that, and like artifacts that were meant to like power his army pretty
Can't
much.
you see-
And
can't you-
instead, he just used meth.
Can't you see Hitler just after a long day? He's like on his stomach on his bed. His legs are up and crossed. And he's like, let's read about magic.
My witchy books.
Wee. I love magic.
Somebody, I'm like, hi, or hi, what is the name? Hi, Himmler.
Yeah.
Himmler pops in like, Hitler, I got you something. It's like, oh, woo, woo.
Ooh, is it the Lost Ark of the Covenant? Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I just got you like 9 black candles. Even better, Himmler.
It's like a new issue of 17 coming through. God.
Yeah.
George Lucas discussed and came up with many ideas with friend Philip Kaufman for Indiana Jones and wanted Kaufman to direct it, but Kaufman was dedicated to the outlaw Joseph Wales with Clint Eastwood at the time. When vacationing with friend Steven Spielberg, the two were discussing their next projects. Spielberg was interested in doing a James Bond film, and Lucas said, I guess I'm better than that.
Yeah.
And he pitched him the idea for Indiana Jones. Spielberg then was hooked on the idea and wanted to do it. Spielberg was interested in Lawrence Kasdan writing the script for Raiders. Lucas, Spielberg, and Kasdan spent 3 to 5 days coming up with key scenes and set pieces for the film, and Kasdan went off to write the script. Kasdan wrote the script longhand, actually. The original treatment of it was written by hand because he's like, I'm not a typist, is what he said.
It's for the kids. I
Yeah.
don't do that.
Spielberg loved the script but hated the name Indiana Smith.
Yep.
So the first name, based off of Lucas's Malamute, stayed, and the last changed to Jones. His Malamute was also like the inspiration for Chewie as the Wookiee in Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
At first, the character of Indy was to be a playboy kung fu practitioner. That was scrapped. Then an avid gambler and alcoholic. That was scrapped.
Why not?
Eventually, the writing team had Jones be the fallible, vulnerable, just as capable at the comedic bits as he was at the action bits. Lucas had suggested that there be a hint at Marion and Indy have a romantic tryst when Marion was only 11.
Don't like that.
Spielberg shot that down and simply said, "She'd better be older. we can't have that."
We're going to go deep into that later, guys.
Okay, cool.
That's it. Never mind.
Well, let's not.
That's
After having some trouble getting the film financed, the rights eventually went to Paramount, and casting and pre-production would begin. For the role of Indiana Jones, those considered were Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, Nick Nolte, Steve Martin, Jack Nicholson, Peter Coyote, Sam Elliott, and Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck did screen tests with Sean Young playing Marion and was very close to being cast, but a little show called Magnum P.I. put a stop to that.
Old Mag.
Spielberg had suggested Harrison Ford, and Lucas was hesitant because he had worked with him a few times before, saying, I don't want him being my Bobby De Niro as he is to Martin Scorsese.
Oh, okay.
Nevertheless, Ford was cast. Spielberg had seen Animal House and really liked Karen Allen. After several auditions and screen tests, she was cast.
Yep.
Principal photography began on June 23rd, 1980. The film shot in France, North Africa, and Hawaii, as well as sets being built at Elstree Studios in London. Raiders of the Lost Ark was released on June 12th, 1981. And on a budget of $20 million, the film would go on to make $389.9 million at the box office and was nominated for 9 Academy Awards and won 5 awards, actually, Mike.
Oh, God.
Best art direction, best sound, best visual effects, best editing, and best original score.
So it did okay.
It did a little bit.
All right.
Yeah.
Kind of mind-blowing. Despite the team, imagine this, despite the team of Lucas and Spielberg behind the film, it was turned down by like every studio in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Can you even imagine that?
Well, it's because of the George Lucas, his like contract that he wanted from everybody.
Right.
It was he wanted like all rights and like all proceeds to go to like him pretty much, and like just have people get their salary and that's it. And people and studios were like, so we make no money off this?
Yes.
No.
Says, well, look, guys, I have 2 first names, and you, so I basically need double the salary.
3. George Robert Lucas.
There you go. Look at that. So I need it for 3 people at least.
Well, thanks, Shaun. So up next, we talk to AJ. He does the research on critical and fan reviews and ratings. What do you got, man?
Boy, we're lucky this didn't happen to Indiana Jones. It's the tomato meter.
Gross.
He avoided all the splats. 93%
Goodness.
certified fresh.
That is tied, of any movie we've done, tied with Terminator 2. That is slightly better than Jurassic Park, Slightly worse than The Evil Dead. I like to point that out every time a movie is less than The Evil Dead.
Evil Dead's like the greatest movie ever made.
And I like to point that out.
Well,
so that's what the critics think, at least.
I appreciate that you bring it up, but then it also just kind of makes me hate movies a little bit more.
It actually makes me want to quit this podcast.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
It's our last episode, guys.
96% from the audiences, so they're in pretty hardcore agreement there, and this is an 8.4 on IMDb.
8.4, as you know, is just a masterpiece. That is tied with The Shining in our number 6 spot of any movie we've done.
Nice. The Shining will come up later too.
Wowzers. Well, there is a lot of hundies out there, guys. A lot of 100 out of 100s, 1 out of 1s. Roger Ebert was one of those guys. plays like an anthology of the best parts from all the Saturday matinee serials ever made. He was a big fan of this, and his counterpart Gene Siskel over at Chicago Tribune was an 100% agreeance, giving it 100. Raiders of the Lost Ark is in fact about as entertaining as a commercial movie can be. What is it? An adventure film that plays like an old-time 12-part serial that you see all at once, instead of Saturday to Saturday. It's a modern Thief of Baghdad. It's the kind of movie that first got you excited about movies when you were a kid.
I feel like Gene and Roger Ebert were like those kids like Ralphie in The Christmas Story who just sat by their radio box and listened to their serial programs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. The Little Orphan Annie.
Yes.
On their stomach with their feet up crossed.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Reading their
Just
witch,
like
witch
Hitler.
books.
Just like Hitler. Love witchcraft, guys.
Woo wee woo shit.
Oh, woo wee woo. Get your decoder rings ready. Dave Kerr was in major disagreements over at Reader. He gave this 30 out of 100.
Wow.
And he said that it travels fast and straight down a linear plot, and the ceaseless rush quickly becomes monotonous. It's too much.
Wow.
It's too much for me. I don't like it at all. I got a couple of 1 out of 1s here, and I also took one that was a 1 out of 10, but I don't think that's what they meant. 1 out of 10, boring, overrated movie. The only reason I watched this movie is because it's highly rated, and it's supposed to be a classic. This movie is so bad. That's it.
This movie is so bad.
1 out of 10. One of the most illogical movies that I've seen in my life. Said Ali Resmeen. Okay. This is in 2021. I'm really surprised that this movie is in the top 250 of IMDb. I can't understand why this movie is so attractive for people. We have many adventure movies that definitely are better than this. I think just because of the name of the director, that's why people paid attention to this junk movie. Don't waste your time on this absurd movie.
There it is.
This is suitable only for infants. I can assure you that it's not, because my infant son did not pay attention. So
your review
I
is
know
trash.
from experience, dude.
I know, if you know what I mean. How about we'll do 1 out of 10 here, okay? But it's great. In 2002, Elizabeth had this to say. Although I've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark several times, my boyfriend made me gain a new enthusiasm for it. It's really a fantastic movie that has to be seen by everyone. And it's the kind of movie that you appreciate more every time you see it. I think it's one of Steven Spielberg's greatest movies and one of Harrison Ford's most memorable roles. I definitely recommend this movie, so go out and see it if you never have, and watch it again if you have. 1 out of 10.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Just
So you're basically saying we can't trust anything fan reviewed on IMDb.
like
That's
if you're
basically
completely
what it is.
screwed.
if you're looking to see what people are thinking about this movie, you probably like based your like what I want to read off of the star rating
Yeah.
or like their rating.
Cool.
So-
Another person hates this movie.
yeah, awesome. Okay, let me see what they say about it. Oh, sounds like they fucking loved it.
You know what?
Wait
Maybe
a
I should give
second.
it another shot.
Maybe that's what they're doing.
Maybe that's what they're doing.
I don't know. Maybe
1
I'm
out of
talking about
10.
somebody else. All right, one more. I have one more for you guys. This is 3 out of 10. Vince Gambini, great name by the way.
Yeah, that's great.
Gave it a 3 out of 10, calling it the celluloid equivalent of dad jeans.
That's weird.
All right, you got me.
All right,
You got me.
Dad Jeans is a good band name.
dad jeans. Yeah, you taking that one?
Yeah.
All right.
That's my prop.
Is the dad jeans from the review
Yes.
title?
Yes.
All right. What can I say? It's one of these blockbusters from the past that enjoys a cult following among the 50-plus-year-olds, but is actually rather outdated, cartoonish, with some really bad acting across the board, and an annoying soundtrack. And I actually like John Williams' work.
Annoying soundtrack.
Perhaps the kids like it, although I have my doubts because it's as uncool as it can be. Uncool like dad jeans, and they don't think that it's worth your time. And apparently John Williams' soundtrack is annoying.
Garbage.
Guys.
I don't know why he even tries.
3 out of 10.
So dumb.
3 out of 10. At least they were honest.
Well, thanks for trying, John.
I gave it a 1 only because I couldn't give it a 0.
I gave it a 3 only because I didn't want to go any lower. Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks, AJ. My dudes, the year is 1939, and we can do whatever we want. We can take weeks off at a time from our job to travel the world. We can steal ancient treasures from Don't Go Island. We can sleep with multiple underage partners without fear of prosecution.
Uh-oh.
We can even walk around with a whip attached to our belts. But you know what we can't do? Trust monkeys.
No, never.
Here we go. So in 1936, Indiana Jones recovers a golden idol from a booby-trapped Peruvian temple. Rival archaeologist René Belloc corners him and steals the idol, and Jones escapes. After returning to the United States, Jones is briefed by 2 Army intelligence agents that Nazis are seeking the Ark of the Covenant and is recruited to recover the Ark first.
Okay. The opening of this movie may be top 10 openings of all time.
And when you say opening, what do you mean? Like we're talking the full-blown thing?
The full, okay, I'll say this. One of the top 10 greatest character introductions of all time. Because you just have this group, he's all in shadow for like the first 2 minutes even. Oh, goodbye light.
Our light turned off.
For like the first, you want to just... He's all in shadow for like the first 2 minutes. And it's the soundtrack is even kind of like whimsical at this point. But then when he's actually revealed, when the guy tries to turn on him and whips that gun out of his hand, when he's revealed, the music gets kind of lower. You know, it's kind of baritone and like ominous. It's like George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are just like, this isn't your normal hero. We are introducing something completely different at this time, and this is what he is. He's just going to be not even a badass, as we find out. You know.
13 straight minutes of pure iconic cinema, dude. I mean, like everything from the just absolute flex on the Paramount logo into the mountain. Like that is a flex.
Oh yeah.
That is like, don't worry, we'll do something no one's ever done. From that to his hat, to the fingers, to the whip, the sandbag, the ball, the theme song, like this is just pure joy. Yeah. Like this whole 13 minutes of awesomeness.
How are you not in after watching
Right.
all this?
Yeah, it's all excitement. And by the way, we get a very young Alfred Molina.
Yeah, man.
Doc
movie.
Ock. I don't know. He's been in a ton of stuff.
This was his first role, right?
First role,
First
though.
role. Oh my God, 70s movie that I love.
Jaws.
Was it Jaws?
Porn 70s.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No.
70s porn. Got it. Alfred
Yeah.
Molina. Good
You
luck.
know what it is. God damn it. Boogie Nights. Fuck.
The Boogie Nights. Oh, he was in Boogie Nights?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay. Well, yeah, very young role for him though. He was great, but boy, if I feel like Indiana Jones should understand these pitfalls a little bit better. He seems pretty seasoned at this point, and he's getting himself into these points of like, obviously the idol. And the sandbag, I love that moment.
He knew
the
to do that, right?
I like that they don't have to explain this about him.
Yes.
He knows these things, And you see that in the later movies, too, of like the research that has gone into these types of things. I think we would have lost a lot of interest right away had we had to explain this. That being said, I feel like you should be expecting these types of things, quite literally, these pitfalls of like the whip, the guys turning on you. Can you trust these people? Does he ever work with somebody he trusts?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I think it's hard to find good work in that field.
hard to find good work these days.
Dude, the one guy at
Nobody
the very
wants to work.
He didn't have ZipRecruiter at the time.
ZipRecruiter. The guy at the beginning, I swear to you, like, because it scared me as a kid when he brushes the plant aside and it's the statue. And he goes and he runs away. But upon watching it as an adult, it was just one little leaf in front of the stone. Like you saw that the face was there. So that was his like out. He's like, I'm not going any further. I need to find. I gotta like, do I have diarrhea? Like, what can I figure out? Oh, I'll get really scared at that stone that's around the corner.
Perfect.
And then he runs away.
Yeah, he's looking for a way out.
He's looking for a way out. Nobody wants this.
Oh, I tripped. I hurt my ankle. I can't go in there.
Well, it is pretty scary.
Yeah,
He is a bit of a bitch, so just let him go.
I'm just saying.
Even the one guy's like, ooh, the poison is still fresh. It's been here for 3 days. They're following us. It's like, no, you're following them.
Yeah.
They're coming up with stupid ways to be like, no, I think they're following us. We should quit this. He's like, dude, you said it's been here for 3 days, so
That
why
means
would they?
They've been here.
It's like, and then by the way, he's like, oh no, deadly poison darts. It's fresh.
3 days. Did anyone ever spoof this movie like?
Oh, I'm sure.
Like a scary movie type of a spoof.
I'm sure there's one out there.
This movie would be amazing to spoof.
There's probably like a bits of it in like a Leslie Nielsen movie somewhere.
Yep.
I mean, it's almost the movie's aware enough of itself, though. I feel like it's got to be to a degree, right?
That's a really good point. Yeah.
I think it's aware enough for itself.
Yeah.
Like, especially when he does make it out of there, not try to skip over the whole temple scene, but like he does come out and it's like that guy who I think ran away or something. And he's like,
I'm dead.
Falls right over. He's just got death by 1,000 darts in the back.
They took the time to like, hey, keep holding him up. Hold him up. You gotta make it look like he's real until he comes out. And then
his legs aren't buckled at all.
I'll give the sign. I'll go, whoosh, whoosh, and then that means just slowly let him go, but make sure he falls forward so that we can see the darts in his back.
Right.
Hold him up.
Hold him up. We want them to know that he died.
No, at what point does Harrison Ford, in what like realm Harrison Ford dies? Like he doesn't get under the thing and he dies in the tomb. How long did they stand outside of that temple waiting for him to come? Like at what point do they go, he's not coming?
Hold.
And then the same guy's still sitting there with that holding that thing.
He's starting to get cold, sir. I can't hold him up.
He's peeing.
Oh, you lost everything.
He's pooping now.
Let's call it a day, guys. We're out of here.
Can we wrap this up?
I hate spiders. I am spider phobic. Unlike Indiana Jones, I do like snakes. I don't mind snakes. I wouldn't say I like them.
So the more legs, the worse for you.
Yeah,
gotcha.
But like honestly, tarantulas don't really do it for me. They don't really scare me that much. Like for some reason, they almost kind of cute in a way to me. But a lot of them, oh no, I'm the fuck out of there.
Okay, you have to pick one. You're either in the Well of Souls for an hour with all the snakes trying to fend them off, or you're in the Well of Souls with that many tarantulas trying to fend them off. What are you picking?
Probably tarantulas.
I think I'd probably go snakes. I think. Well, you have to pick, Mike. What's going to be?
I have to pick tarantulas. Yeah, I mean, like snakes can definitely kill me.
So can spiders.
Yeah, but I feel like I got a better chance. I can definitely stomp on as many of them as I can.
That's true.
Oh, man, I don't see. There's the problem. Is we're just saying a bunch of that same tarantula. What if it was a bunch of like different spiders? Like it was a bunch of different
That's
snakes.
true. Yeah, no snakes. Yep.
How about stay home on your couch and don't leave it? Don't leave your house.
What if I just let that idol be and I just don't have to? Like, why? Let's ask the bigger question here, guys. Why are we stealing this deity idol, this fertility idol, from this temple?
We don't know.
I from what I can gather is that him and Brody like put it in their museum or whatever and study it, and that's all I gather.
Great. What's What's better about it being there in the museum rather than letting the people who are actively enjoying and appreciating this thing why not just let it be?
One word, America.
America.
Yes.
We need it.
We have to have it.
That's
It
ours
belongs
now.
in a museum.
Well, one thing, yeah. One thing about that spider scene is that Alfred Molina is like his first shot.
This is the first shot of this movie.
And they just put a shit ton of spiders on him, and they
He
yelled,
walked on set,
Yeah.
and they're like, cool, first scene.
They yelled, roll it, and Steven Spielberg's like, why aren't they moving? He's like, oh, okay, so cut. Then the spider wrangler came over. He's like, they're not moving because there's not a female involved yet. And so he put a female on him and then just like, just started crawling all over him. And then Steven Spielberg said, oh, I'm scared, Alfred. He's like, oh, I'm fucking scared.
Oh, I'm scared.
He's like, no, this is my scared face.
I don't think I'm going to act anymore after this. If this is what it's like. I'll tell you what though. This is my Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are going to go the Star Wars route. We had him in The Fugitive. We talked about how handsome he was with a beard in The Fugitive, but I think this is peak Harrison Ford handsomeness. Like he is a gorgeous person in this movie. As evident by all the students are madly in love with him. The love you on the eyeballs.
It's crazy, man. And I just like have a question about that is like, well, one, she took the time to do that. That's got to take some time to write backwards in a mirror. And then like, does she do, if there's like a teacher that she doesn't like, is it fuck you?
No, she just keeps her eyes open. It's like she doesn't blink.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't blink
Just-
anymore.
Andrea, why are you having problems? No, I'm
you
good.
okay?
No.
Are you okay?
I'm really good. Everything's fine.
I'm really fine.
Oh, I'm late to Mr. Jones's class.
That was supposed to be like a bigger thing too. Like I said, they introduced elements of him being like this womanizing character, and that's why that scene is there. And we'll get to a scene later with Brody in his house. Like there was supposed to be the reason he had a robe on was supposed to be because he had a lady with him
Dude,
in his
and
room.
it was implied too that it was a student.
Yeah.
Like it was implied that yes, one of his students, probably the Love You girl,
Yeah, maybe.
was in his room that whole time. I'm glad they didn't move forward with that because it doesn't need to be a thing.
It'd be too distracting. It'd be too distracting for this like fallible character of Indiana Jones because him making mistakes and doing these types of things, it's what helps you root for him, I think,
Absolutely.
that he does take falls, he does take punches, he does, that's the kind of stuff like he gets left behind and has to jump the pit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that make you I think cheer for him while he's quite literally grave robbing. And he's yes.
That means two things.
Cradle
See?
robbery,
That's
and
really
grave
good.
robbery.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's just one of them's getting robbed, and he's a man for the job on either end. But
He has needs.
he has needs,
Cradle to the
and apparently he needs that fertility idol because he's got.
Oh, that's why he's going for it.
Okay.
So Brody doesn't even know he's there for this one.
Right.
I had it in my hands.
Have it in my hands.
I want to discuss this scene. This could like just be. This is like the big exposition dump on us, right? With these two government, they're like army guys, right?
Yes, they are two
Army
army and intelligence.
So this could be just like, and probably when I was a kid, I was like, this is the boring scene. Like, where's the whips and where's the spiders and where's the adventure?
Why are they in a classroom and using a chalkboard? That's lame.
But like the way that Spielberg will shoot a scene like this is that shots are one thing, and then just by moving the camera and characters, this is blocking and staging. Just by doing that, he creates 2 in 1, where he just move the camera, and then like these characters will move over here, and you'd think he like put an insert of them sitting down. No, he's not going to do that. He's going to cut to when Jones puts the book on the table, and then the camera slowly comes down on those two characters with the book in frame. Nothing's happened with the book yet, but we keep going to that shot. And then he explains everything. And then he's like, so what would this look like? Opens the book. The book has been there.
It's been ready for you.
Teasing you. And like everything you needed to know was just explained to you. And then here's a visual picture. And that's like the only cut for an insert that we have in this scene. I just think I'll just say it now. There's a Steven Soderbergh cut of this movie where he desaturated the whole movie to black and white and took out all of the audio and put Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross music in there from like Social Network and Girl with the Dragon Tattoo over the whole movie. And one, this movie needs to be black and white. Two, it was an experiment just to highlight his blocking and staging of all the scenes that he does. And it does really highlight it when you just strip everything away and just look at how the camera moves. And we'll talk about it in a little bit too with this scene in when Brody comes to the house. But it's just brilliant. I love it.
He does a great job with it. I think a lot of people are really revere him as kind of the master of doing that, of blocking, staging, and setting those shots.
He really is.
Yeah.
We need to talk about looking at it from a modern eye. You have to understand this is 1939 and what it took to travel, what it took to get on planes and travel the world. Like we think of like if we were trying to go, he goes from San Francisco to Hawaii to Philippines to Nepal on that first flight. If we were going to do that same flight, it'd probably be those same stops.
Okay.
We're talking a couple hour layover, faster jets. This, you have to think about what 1939 travel was. He more than likely was making that really, really slow flight from San Francisco to Hawaii and then probably being in Hawaii for multiple days until the one flight from Hawaii to Philippines took place.
Yeah.
Then multiple days in the Philippines till he got to Nepal. The cost of a Pan Am, the same flight he took one way was $7.99 in 1936. That's $14,000 adjusted for inflation.
Good God.
For a one-way ticket. That my main question I'm getting to is he just returned from the pretty much the same type of flight schedule and journey through the jungle. That probably took him 3 weeks to get back to class to resume teaching for a day to now be gone for like another 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What is going on? What is this just is his professor thing just a hiding, it's like a
cover.
It's a mask, it's a cover, or is he just the worst teacher ever because he's never there?
Or is he just the worst traveler ever too? Maybe he just doesn't know. Like you're right.
He turns down champagne and falls asleep on a 14-hour flight. I'm like, what is the matter with you, Indiana Jones?
Start drinking
now.
Okay, just start. All you have to do. You're vacationing. Like your travel time is most people's vacation time at this point. And I have to imagine he's getting to Hawaii and hoping that there's like a connection to Nepal.
He's not online like going, okay, well then I'll get on the
What's
next
the cool
flight the
thing
next
to
day.
do in Hawaii right now?
He's on the phone with the travel agent. That must be a hell of a job.
Jesus.
Being Indiana Jones' travel agent. Are you kidding?
Oh my God, Indy. All right. So Nepal, huh? Well, we got 9 stops along the way. Do you like we can like a couple days in Hawaii? You think or no?
No.
Straight there.
And then let me get this right. When you're in Nepal, then you eventually want to go to Cairo after that. We're going to have to route you through Karachi to Baghdad. Oh, my God. You're going to have to spend a week in Baghdad at least until that next plane comes by. Okay, whatever.
Think about that. Exactly. You think about it's like this is him on the other line. He's like, right, hat in your hands, huh? No. All right. Okay. Yeah, no, just let me know. All right, we'll talk to you soon. All right, bye. God. Hope that's kind of done with for a while. Hello. Oh, my God.
We got to send you to Cairo.
Cairo?
What just happened?
What do you mean you need to get to Nepal?
I didn't really need to come here.
Nepal?
One more nerding out thing. When Brody comes to his house, it's all one shot. Brody comes in and sits on the chair, and then the camera kind of comes in on him explaining like the Marion thing, right? And then Jones is out of frame at this point, and you would think like he says something, it would cut back to Jones. But no, Jones walks in front of the camera, and the camera follows him, and it goes to him, then it comes back. It's creating another shot, have another shot. It's just fucking brilliant and like economical storytelling.
Yeah.
And then he's just like he mentions his gun, cut to the gun into the briefcase. Boom.
We're
ready to go.
We're moving on.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of so good, we got to shout out Cedar Ridge Whiskey, the best whiskey in the world. Last night it was my, when I was young, I used to like stay up till midnight for my birthday. Be like, cool, it's midnight, it's my birthday. I did that last night. It was storming. I sat on my front porch. I poured a glass of American single malt from Cedar Ridge, and I just went, I'm fucking old. Not as old as this single malt though, because that's aged 3 years. I'm aged 41. What is going on? But it like I told you, I enjoy whiskey so much the older I get. and Cedar Ridge has the best in the world. Like, I'm completely spoiled. We were in Princeton, Illinois the other day, and we went to a whiskey bar, and somebody's like, "Oh, you gotta try this." And I was like, it's just not doing it for me. I mean,
it's great. It's aged 3 years. It's called Bilkers.
Billmentinkers. No, it is Cedar Ridge. Like, go online, go to a store, pick up their flagship bourbon, pick up their American quintessential single malt, their collaborations with Slipknot.
Hell yeah, dude.
Number 9.
666, bro.
Anything they make is perfection. Check out cedarridgewhiskey.com. See if it can get delivered straight to your door. They're doing that now.
Yeah.
cedarridgewhiskey.com.
cedarridgewhiskey.com.
cedarridgewhiskey.com, not Lewinnekers.
The winter contendant services.
Say no to Plimpkintons. Say yes to Cedar Ridge.
That's right.
So scene 2, at a bar in Nepal, Jones reunites with an old flame named Marion. He takes the medallion and Marion with him after a major bar fight. Traveling to Cairo, the pair meet Jones's friend Salah. Nazi soldiers and mercenaries attack Jones, and Marion is seemingly killed, leaving Jones despondent. Jones and Salah realize that the Nazis are digging in the wrong location, infiltrate the Nazi dig site, and use the medallion and the correctly sized Staff of Ra to locate the Well of Souls, the Ark's resting place.
Again, just masterful character introduction right here. It's all one shot. It's just the shot goes on the table. She picks it up. There she is, And such a cool kind of character thing to have, too. Like, that's her thing. She can outdrink anybody.
No dialogue in this, too. Just kind of like...
So good, man.
It feels, and, they said this a lot of the critics said this, and you mentioned it, too, in the scene by scene. It's you. That it's plays like these serials, like these old TV shows, some of the old westerns and the Cool Hand Luke and stuff like that, right?
I'm gonna fucking die.
And it plays like these, and that shot that you're talking about, though, of like that introductory shot of like following that glass up to her face and then locking onto her, that reminds me of like a saloon, like western kind of a shot, and it's like you can hear the grain of the film. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? When you watch something like that, or an old western, that you can like hear the graininess of the film itself, and I love that so much. There's a texture to this movie that I don't know if I just don't think you get that anymore.
Yeah,
and when you are in the scene, you're not hearing anything but howling wind and crackling fireplace while everyone's just silent, watching them do this drink competition. Like that speaking of bars, we talk about bars we want to hang out with. I'd go hang out in that bar.
No, totally.
That huge 4-sided fireplace and stone walls, and just
every time someone comes in, they're steaming, so it feels great in there.
I'm pretty sure that like it's actually just a hoo-hot, but I would still love to go there.
Up. You can't say that.
What?
You can't say that.
It's like, well, I was gonna say it was a Brazilian steakhouse, but they're in Nepal. So, like,
So it's hoo-ha.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
Someone's just like throwing eggs in the background at people.
Well, you saw the community grill thing there in the that's what Todd or Tote or whatever his name is. Tati.
But man, we got to talk about Marion here. I think she's the perfect choice to play this role.
I do too.
I think she's absolutely fucking gorgeous in this movie. And I always thought that as a kid, and I definitely modeled who I wanted to date in college after Marion. Like good-looking badass that talks back and can drink more than me.
Yeah.
Because I definitely did that in college. That was a lot of the people.
That's
I dated.
what you do in
That was a lot of people I dated in college.
You grew out of that.
But we really have to talk about this, because this is something that never, ever stood out to me until this watch.
Yeah.
She was a child. This is blank check, guys. We're talking a blank check moment here. That blank check threatens to get canceled because of what blank check did. It had a 30-something-year-old woman and like a 14-year-old boy. This is supposedly the same thing, right? So like you dove into this where they're implying that she was 15 and he was 25, and it was a full-blown sexual romantic relationship that and he even like. This is just dirt. It feels dirty because she's like, I was a child and you knew. And he's like, you knew what you were getting into or something like that. It's like, what?
No, it's her fault. Yeah.
It's her fault for like falling in love with an older man at age 15. And she was supposed to be like 11. And they're like, no, she would be more like 15. That's fine.
They
11's
decided
not
that
fine.
was
They
the
decided
number they
that
landed
15
on.
was like, it's okay. It just. I mean, this
It's
movie is.
consent in California. I don't know.
This movie's 42 years old. So like there's some major grace being given to that, but this is just a weird plot hole to me. Like why is this a thing? It feels weird.
And Karen Allen seems like the same age as Harrison Ford at the time.
Right.
Like, am I wrong? Like,
I think she does seem younger, but I don't
They
think
were
there would have been
9 years apart in real life.
okay.
I don't
So-
think there would have been anything wrong with it. Just like any question of it being, she was first year in college,
Yeah.
while he was a TA, right? Like, why couldn't they have just gone that route and just let it go?
Right, because if what stands as like him being a womanizer and having like a college girl in his room when Brody comes in, it's just like, yeah, it's gross, but it's legal.
It's like, yeah, it's not. We're not saying it's okay, but it's like, well, at least it's not that.
Well, and so explain to me what is their relationship like? Marion, was she the son of like his partner?
Yeah, it seems like he was his partner and like he was a little older. And
Or
it was like
she was the daughter of his,
Abner
of
Ravenwood.
Abner. Yeah, and
which
like,
makes that even weirder.
it was like a son to him. Jones was to
Right.
Abner. Yeah, so I think like a colleague or like a mentor.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff, when I watched this as a kid, a lot of this type of stuff went just right over my head.
Yeah.
I think it goes over most people's. Like, I don't know how many people really latch onto that, like that shorter interaction, right? But yeah.
How about this bar fight, though?
This bar fight's great. I just got to mention,
Yeah, go ahead,
like
Roadhouse.
a cinematography moment where he does lead at first.
Wait,
Count the broken glass.
Wait, I want to cut. I want to cut where our boy from Roadhouse is just hanging out in the corner. Is just hanging out in the corner doing his
The
up-
name
his
is
up-
Dalton.
I want Dalton in the corner just doing his upwards. He's watching them do the drinking competition in
Be
the
nice until it's time to not be nice.
I think it's time for you boys to leave.
So sorry.
No worries.
When the other guys walk in,
When Tot walks in, he's like, no.
We
It's
just
time
need
for you
like
boys to leave.
gunshots and shit going off and like fire all over the place, and then cut to Rick Dalton just be like, go get him.
Go get it. We need this super cut.
So when he does walk out, there's the door is kind of like slit or like it's got that grain to it,
Dude.
and just the perfect like light on his eye. And I'm just telling you, man, like this is the reason this movie needs to be black and white. I think it's just because it's based off those serials, which I'm sure were black and white, and the cinematographer Douglas Slocum, I think is his name.
Yep.
I'm gonna go
Bill
all the way up.
Plimpton.
Douglas Slocum. He was famous for like doing a lot of black and white movies, like noir movies, and so it just makes so much sense to me. And but yeah, I just the lighting of this movie and honestly the colors later on do look really, really goddamn good. But yeah, this bar fight's cool.
And that shot where the barrel of whiskey gets shot and she gets a drink of it before, like that's something I would do. I'd be like, well, at least get a good whiskey before I maybe die. in this.
Before I probably get shot, I'll just have another drink. It's fair. The other thing, though, too, guys, is I don't know. There is a point where I get it. There's some creepiness here. But look, man, I'm not going to be afraid of you, Tot. I'm not going to be afraid of you. You can come in with your weird leather Nazi jacket and stuff and your silly hat and glasses. That's not a man I'd be afraid of.
Are you
No?
serious?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I'd be more afraid of the two guys behind him.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Well, yeah, it's like Hans Landa. Would you be afraid of him?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
mean-
the uniforms.
maybe they're intimidating. He looks like he's made of wax,
Yeah.
like as a human, which we find out he is later.
He looks like a cartoon.
Yeah, he does. Well, and it's I don't know. I probably would be afraid of him just because he's like.
He
And, like,
terrifies me, dude.
They wanted to get Klaus Kinski, who's like a crazy actor, to be this part, but then Spielberg found this guy who was like he gave up acting and like went to be an agent. And Spielberg found him. And he's like, no, I think you need to be in my movie. You remind me of Peter Lorre. You need to be in my movie. And so he came out of retirement pretty much from acting to be in it.
All I can see is Wallace Shawn. That's all I can see is just.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this, if he walked in and he said something inconceivable, and he just had that moment of like, it's like, no, man, I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I see it. I see now.
Yeah. Well, now
Put it like that.
Well, you're right. Now I'm not afraid of him anymore. Sicilian.
something about his like he goes. and he's like, yeah, like, and he started. He goes, we will find the medallion.
He's like a Igor to like Dr. Frankenstein. You know, oh yes, master. Yes.
I think that's what scares me about him is just how like completely weirdly unhinged he probably is.
Like how he's allergic to like everything. Maybe
that's why he wears just a jacket.
Oh, does someone have peanuts in here? No.
Oh, somebody left a window open next to a bowl of peanuts. What's going on?
Even around a peanut.
Pollen.
It is nonstop action in this movie, though, guys, because we've done this bar fight. We've now moved. We meet Salah, and then we're immediately now in Cairo, and there's that crazy battle attack scene in Cairo. The one issue I have is that Harrison Ford, for as good of an actor as he is and how perfect he was in this role, he's a terrible on-screen fighter.
Yeah.
Like, it's very, maybe that was a choice, but his like throwing of punches and like, it's very goofy to me upon rewatch of this. It's not a believable thing that he would win in a fight against these people.
Well, I like that about it.
Yeah?
I think that's what I like. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think he has a lot of like awkward qualities. I've commented on like the way he runs before. Like he has kind of a different run, even as Han Solo. Like there's the way he runs is different. Now he's had leg injuries though throughout his career, and I think he sustained one on this on the set of this movie. We'll talk about when we get to that scene, but he does have some awkward qualities, and I think that again it kind of draws you back to what's endearing about him.
I 100% agree. I think it adds to his like. I could probably try and fight. I'm not a trained fighter, and it seems like he's not either. He just has to do what he has to do at the time, you know. But I think you're saying like the staging of it and like how they film it. It doesn't really bother me. Some of the sound effects are just like cheesy, but it's endearing to me. And you know how they made those sound especially the punching ones. They just like piled up a bunch of leather jackets and beat it with a baseball bat.
Is that really?
That's what the sound is.
I like that.
Yeah, it doesn't really bother me, but I can see how it could.
But I'll tell you what doesn't bother me. We have to talk about. I've known this for years. Like I think somebody made a video. This to me is one of the coolest facts about this movie that you've probably heard is that what Harrison Ford was. Everyone was sick that day,
except
everybody but one, right?
Except Spielberg, as he brought his own food.
He brought his
own canned food. Everyone was sick because they ate the local food.
Yep, and they were filming, and like Harrison Ford had to basically hit the bathroom like every 5 minutes. And they came to that scene with the sword guy, and there's supposed to be some long, intricate fight scene, and he's just no. And they're like, what if he just shoots him? And that is such a amazing choice.
It's so much better.
So glad it's so much better.
I think the verbiage that Harrison Ford used was why doesn't he just shoot the sucker? Why did he?
I'm so tired.
He's trying to get this whip to work. They shot it like I don't know how many times, and they're supposed to whip the sword out of his hand, and it just doesn't work. He's like, why don't you just shoot the sucker?
I have a gun.
I have a gun.
Nobody wants to fight that guy.
Like, oh yeah,
and I love it because he does that, and it's not even a second thought.
Yeah,
it's just like a pure exhaustion. Like he did just get out of the bathroom 6 times. He's like,
he did.
And he just puts.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Marion? You know, but one of my favorite facts about it is that guy, the sword guy, it was supposed to be a huge fight, and he choreographed this whole thing.
It's a really good thing.
He got so hyped up about it. He's like, oh, fuck yeah. I'm gonna get him, and then I eventually die. It's fine. I'm going to have my screen time, though. And they're like, actually, we're just going to shoot your ass.
Hey,
he never acted again. He's like,
yeah, exactly.
Now I'll never get work. I'm the guy that got shot. the sword guy that got shot.
I mean, you know, now it's the thing you know about this movie pretty much. You know?
There is a bit of a continuity thing I'm hoping you can help me out with here. Marion's in the basket. We're following the basket. The basket goes into the truck. The truck falls over and explodes in flames. How did she get out? How did she survive?
I think it's implied later that she like switched baskets. Like,
but we're like hearing her yell from the basket as they put it into the thing.
Yeah.
We don't address that at all. We're just like, yeah, she's live now.
There's a couple things that you just have to kind of be fine with in this movie. But yeah, I mean, we can talk about it for sure.
It happens all the time for Indiana Jones movies for me because it's these chase scenes. It's these kind of through the city chase scenes that happens a lot in Indiana Jones movies of sidestepping, especially with Salah, sorry, with him involved because he knows everybody. And so he kind of creates these little traps and pitfalls for like the bad guys, and he diverts attention very well. But man, it's really hard for me to pay attention during these chase scenes and like trying to the car chases. This chase, it's really tough for me to focus on.
Yeah,
well, there's usually a couple things going on, which is cool too. Where it's like Marion's being chased, and they're chasing Jones, and like he has to shoot the sword guy first, and I love how he introduces these elements of that, of so many elements in one scene where it's just like it's never fucking boring ever. There's always one thing coming up. After he shoots the sword guy, we're gonna cut back to Marion and the monkey or something.
Well, that's what's so crazy about this movie. We're not even through scene 2 yet, and like we still now have to go to now the Well of Souls.
Yeah,
and we haven't even we're not even like halfway through this movie.
No,
it is just nonstop. And I like it because it feels like it doesn't feel too much to me. It doesn't feel like a 2-hour long car chase in Fast and the Furious or something like that. It's enough of something, and then it settles down.
Yeah.
And then it's the next thing, and then it settles down. And it's paced really well.
And especially even when the whole chase is kind of over. Which one thing too is like you just wanted to talk to him, and so you chased him all over the city and made this whole big deal about it, and maybe even killed someone. And then they introduced like they might have killed him if Salah didn't bring his kids in.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Like you're just gonna bring your kids in to a group of people that have a lot of guns. All right, Salah.
Hey, go on. Go get Jones.
Go get Uncle Indy. Get him. Yeah. Okay, bring him out.
Oh, wait. It's too late.
I got so many kids. It's fine.
And Jones is in a bad place at this point. He's throwing out lines like, "You want to go see God? Let's go together. I've got nothing better to do."
I love it. Like, yeah, Marion's dead now. Now he's like, it's with a purpose almost, other than just getting or being an archaeologist at this point. Like all the love of the mysticism of what he does is gone now. He's animalistic. I like it a lot.
Yeah, so we get to the they actually get to the Well of Soul, the dig site.
I want to talk about one more scene.
Go ahead.
Where like they poison the dates.
Yeah.
And so it's like the Hitchcock bomb under the table kind of thing. Like they introduce the threat. The dates are poisoned. The audience sees it. No one else does, except the monkey, I guess. But then it's this exposition scene, like, oh, they got the wrong place, right? And so like it could just be a boring exposition scene, but there's this underlying threat that we know of that Indiana Jones does not know about.
Oh, you're right.
Until it's done. It's just like that's how you fucking do.
They're telling us what we need to know, which is kind of boring sometimes. But also it's not boring because we're like,
we're on edge.
Is somebody going to die?
Yeah.
Is somebody going to eat this? I didn't even think about that.
No.
Cool.
That is really cool. Well, let's actually move this all to the next scene. So we already talked about they get to the Well of Souls. Scene 3, they recover the Ark, a golden, intricately decorated chest, but Belloc and the Nazis discover them and seize it. Jones and Marion, whom Belloc has held captive, are sealed inside the well, but the pair escaped and have a fight at the airfield.
So Belloc, we haven't talked about him a little, but what's his goddamn name? Paul Freeman. I really like him in this. You can kind of relate to him even, where he says like he does kind of a point like I bought this watch for $10 off the street. If I bury it 100 years from now, it's going to be worth millions or priceless even. It's like that's really kind of interesting. He's like, why do we even do any of this? It's just a piece of junk, really. It was just a piece of junk way back then.
Yep. But
it's worth millions now. What do you guys think about his character?
Yeah,
he's frustrating. Because he's just piggybacking off of everything, So
is he actually good at what he does?
And I do have I had a thought about this too. I was trying to decipher it, to be honest. If he has his own underlying agenda, even aside from the Nazis, and how, and wondering. I was wondering. I heard it the last time I watched the movie. If he was actually trying to get them to take this thing to Hitler so it would actually kill him or something. I kept trying to decipher it.
No,
but you don't think that's the thing, right?
We'll get to it later.
Okay.
Now that you're saying that, no, it can't. No.
Okay. Well, I like his character a lot. I think he's a great antagonist. But I just, for some reason, you want to punch him. Not saying he's my punchable face. but I think he deserves a punch.
Is he the main bad guy? Or is it Tot?
I would say that it's what's fucking
Belloc.
name? Belloc.
Belloc?
Yeah, I would say it's Belloc.
Well, so you're saying it's not psychopathic Tot who shows up in the desert wearing full-blown black leather when everyone else is sweating and he's still got
That
his leather.
poor guy.
He's literally melting.
Well, how could he be the bad guy when he makes such poor decisions?
Dude, and he walks into the room and says, always overdressing for the wrong occasions. That's what you're doing.
It's like, really?
That's what you're doing.
Really, leather trench coat?
Everyone else has their white V-necks on and their hats, and they're like, it's fucking hot.
Everyone's got their chambray like blowing in the wind. And you're just still sitting there with your damn leather that's just stuck to you with sweat, looking like freaking Batman.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
It's crazy.
Another question for you. Do you think, because Shaun, basically on what you just said, I think you might go one way on this. Indy comes in, finds Marion tied up, and it's like, hold on, if I untie you, we're going to blow this whole thing. Alternate universe, Indy goes, digs, finds the Ark, and they actually get it out without the Nazis knowing. He's not going back for Marion.
No?
Right?
Wait, so alternate
So
universe
let's
what?
Like
say
see
he
her?
actually let's say he knows Marion's tied up and he's like, I'm not going to untie you now because we need you to stay here so that we can get the Ark out,
Yeah.
and then I'll come back for you. If they actually pulled the Ark out and the Nazis were all sleeping and they're cool, we can get away right now. Like, we have the Ark, let's go. He's not going back for Marion.
Oh, I think he is.
I don't know.
I think
he's got the Ark of the Covenant.
You know, when he saw her, it was just like he was just so happy that she was alive.
He
Like,
should
I
have try
believed
hard
it.
to like maybe look through the wreckage, like be like, did she really die in
It's true.
there? Like maybe she's alive.
Yeah, he didn't see her body. I
He
guess.
sure
Yeah.
didn't try hard to see. I'm just saying, if Katie's in the bathroom, she's like,
All
wait
right.
for me, I got to go to the bathroom, and you're like, cool, I'll wait for you. And then this car pulls up and goes, Shaun Pryor, here's a briefcase of $10 million, but you have to get in the car right now, or else you don't get it. You're like, babe, I'm getting in the car.
I'll explain later.
I'll come back for you.
I
baby.
will definitely explain later.
Sorry,
Well,
Katie.
I was helping our family.
Look, that's the beauty of 2023. You just shoot her a text really quick. It's
Exactly.
like, BRB.
Hey, look on Find My Friends. Just follow us.
Yeah.
You're never gonna believe what just happened. Yeah.
I love you forever, but also you'll never see me again.
But it is a good like plot device for the script too, to have him. It's smart because if he does untie her and bring her over there,
Yep.
and then it breaks up these scenes. Like again, we go to, which could be sort of boring, the scenes of her and Belloc like getting drunk together. That's probably the most boring aspect of the movie by far. But like we cut back to the dig, and then I do like that whole scene with her and Belloc is pretty much improvised.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, they introduced that, and then like they knew in the script that she was the drinker, so they reintroduced that into the movie, and then had their stick the knife on the table and shit.
Yeah.
It's a cool kind of last minute thing. It's like, oh yeah, do that, and it was Karen Allen's idea to do all that.
Yeah, they wanted that to happen, and she wants to get away. I think it's just, I still think even after all that and with the knife and all that good stuff, I still think that it was not as necessary of a part. I think it took up more time than it should have.
Yes, I agree.
Because
it doesn't really make sense because obviously Belloc likes her, but then he's also like, well, you're in the well. I don't really care.
Yeah. And I think that's, I'll say this about Belloc too, because I think that's a really good point. Technically, you got to really think he's fairly neutral to about everything except for getting the Ark and kind of sticking it to Indy.
And sticking it in Marion.
Well, yeah, that's right. One of
Those
them
are the three things
they both wanted to stab each other just in different ways. But I think that about Belloc, where we see it several times. It's like I don't really care. I don't have a dog in this fight, other than the fact that I want the Covenant. I want to get paid.
Yeah, that's all I want.
That's all I care about.
This I have a question. Like, this is a very important thing. Is this Well of Souls full of these snakes? Is this the most fucked up backcountry West Virginia inbred snake city of all time? Like, these are all inbred snakes. Is that a thing?
yeah. Maybe.
So are they all inbred? Because they can't leave. They're in the Well of Souls.
How are they surviving
Are they
down
just fucking their brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
And just being like, let's make more snakes.
And eating the weak or
Yeah,
something.
and eating the weak and stuff like
They're
that.
banging each other and eating each other, and that's
It's just like Bellic and all he wants.
Sorry, something weird in my brain about inbred snakes is like something I can't seem to get out of my mind.
well, inbred
That's my
snakes.
band name.
Inbred snakes. Listen, if you don't like snakes, like my wife, this is the worst possible movie to watch in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is fucking terrifying.
And there wasn't enough at first for Spielberg.
What?
There was like, I think 3,000, I think, is what I want to say.
These are real snakes,
It
too.
was
Yeah.
thousands, and they still didn't have enough. They still wanted to. They still cut up hose and laid it down. They cut up sections of just hoses.
Were the snakes trying to fuck the hoses?
Yeah, and those inbred snakes
Sorry,
are
I'm
just trying
really
to go
interested
at
in
it
this.
with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you're really stuck on this, huh?
Yeah. I can't imagine.
Well, there was 3,000 at
Yeah.
first, and he's like, go get 4,000 more. We need 7. You know?
yeah.
It was
And also, we do really need like poisonous ones. Like, make sure you bring the poisonous ones.
Yeah.
That fucking stand-up python motherfucker.
Yeah.
That is
Cobra
poisonous.
thing. Yeah.
And they had a pane of glass.
Yeah, another like kind of well-known fact about the movie is that it was just like pretty much like a glass cage, you know, and they had to light it perfectly, so it looks super convincing.
Everybody used to say, I think there was previous versions or before things were remastered, that you could see the glare and whatnot. I didn't find a version that I could see a glare. I don't know about you guys.
That snake through the dead guy's mouth, that giant
Yeah.
python that comes out of his mouth, like it never stops. It just keeps getting worse and worse.
It does. It's nightmare fuel for snake
It's
haters.
the Mummy. It's that dude at the end of the Mummy that's in there with those scarabs. This is if they don't get out of here, that is the worst. I cannot imagine what that would be like.
Yeah.
It's either a slow death or a slow one after getting bit. You know, this is actually where this movie collides with The Shining. Is that when they were shooting this scene on L Street Studios, they were also shooting The Shining at L Street. And when Vivian Kubrick, who did the documentary of the making of The Shining, is Stanley's daughter, came to visit him on set, she saw that there was like unsafe conditions for the snake, and she called the whatever Animal Alliance or some shit and had them shut down for a day.
For unfair treatment of snakes.
Fucking Christ.
If you love the snake so much, why don't you fuck it?
Yeah. Dude, like I'm all for it. What is that, the ASPCA? Or I am all for that.
Yeah.
I don't ever want it, like animals being mistreated like hurts me.
Yeah, definitely.
Except for snakes. Like no one fucking cares. Cut off his head. We don't care. That's an inbred snake. You got to end this lineage.
I do think that they did report there was only one mishap with the whole thing, which to me it is kind of sad, to be honest. Well, okay, there's 2 mishaps, unfortunately. I think it was like the second unit director who did it was a python, so it wasn't a venomous snake, but it basically bit his hand, and he was like, "Can somebody please come over?"
Yeah, it was like holding on to it
and whip this snake's tail so it will come off of me. And they did that. Like an assistant came over and did that, and it finally released. And then he went and got. And I think a cobra did actually bite another big python, and it did die. Which is it's kind of sad. I know you don't like snakes, but it's sad.
I'm just saying, man.
I don't think that's sad.
I'm also wondering how smart the Nazis are, because really, apparently, all you had to do is just move this little boulder, and then you would be into the room of where the Ark of the Covenant is. You know how they get out? It's just a room.
Yeah.
And there's just like a thing, and they just push it.
All I had to do was do a little Jenga.
That's really all it was. It was like Jenga of concrete walls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's right there.
Everyone knows you just kind of push on a concrete slab and it'll move.
It will.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with you got enough force and
Just
you get that big guy.
You can even see it in the shadow. Have you seen that? And when that boulder comes out, it like bounces. You can see the shadow of the boulder bounce against the ground.
Okay, so this airplane scene is just fucking legendary, man. This is what I mean about like multiple things going on at the same time. Marion's caught in the cockpit. The big guy wants to come over and fight. Finally, he has a purpose. And
Yeah.
This is what I've been waiting for.
No.
He strolls
right.
out of there just stoked. He's like, it's all up to me.
This is why the Nazis signed me
Yeah, that's right.
for this moment.
Enforcer Karloff is coming out.
that's Pat Roach, and he's in.
He's a wrestler.
Yeah, he's a
Papa
wrestler.
Roach, huh?
Yeah, he was in all of the sequels that Spielberg did, I believe, and he dies twice in this movie. Actually,
God damn it!
he
Does he
dies
really?
in this
Dies
scene
twice in this movie.
and the bar scene he's in. He like dies in the fire apparently. But yeah, man, like this is fucking incredible. Like Marion gets caught in the cockpit, then the gasoline cap gets popped off, and so that starts to spread, and then these guys come over in the truck, these Nazis, and so she kills a bunch of people. There's so much going on, and as this ends, I'm just like, how the fuck do you do this? And like it's got to be just a blessed production in this case, because as the plane is moving this way, like oscillating, the flame, he's trying to get Marion out. They're in frame, and the flame is perfectly like just ahead of them as it reaches. And I'm just like, how?
And that's real.
Yeah.
Like they had to do that and time that.
It's so fucking
I
crazy,
noticed
man.
that. I noticed that exact shot you're talking about on the last watch. I was like, what? That is perfection.
It's got to be just be like blessed. Like,
Yeah.
because if you try and do that, and maybe they did try like 90 different times,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. It's crazy.
that plane is not real.
Duh.
Which, who'd have thunk, right? Just a big old object that just looks like this. Apparently wouldn't fly very well.
Vertical
I don't know.
takeoff in 1939.
Yeah,
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
But the propellers going. I was trying to find it. Are the propellers real? And they're dancing around these propellers like that?
They had to be, right?
I'm not sure. Maybe they were made of something else, but still they're whipping back and forth like that.
Because I'm sorry, that right there is enough for me as well. That they're just fighting and going back and forth. You've got everything that you just talked about, and then you add this into the mix, and they're trying to coordinate around those things. Oof.
I thought getting chopped up by airplane propellers was going to be a big deal.
I 100% did,
I thought that was going to be
Michael.
a big part of life.
Oh my
I thought every
gosh.
time you walked up to a helicopter, like you were gonna like get your head cut off.
Yeah.
Like especially from watching Dawn of the Dead, it was just gonna happen.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Scene 4. Jones captures a truck carrying the Ark and evades the Nazis. Alongside Marion, Jones arranges to transport the Ark to London aboard a tramp steamer. A German U-boat intercepts the steamer and seizes the Ark and Marion. Jones covertly boards the U-boat. The vessel travels to an island in the Aegean Sea where Belloc intends to test the power of the Ark before presenting it to Hitler.
It just never stops.
Oh,
man.
weird. Another chase scene.
It just never fucking stops. And these, like, I just got to say about these stunts, they're just fucking,
Oh
like,
my
even
God.
just like people getting hit in the face and just knocked down. Those look great. They look like Home Alone. Those stunts, they're just like huge pratfalls flat
yeah.
on your back. It looks so good, and especially like even if Harrison Ford's doing it, it looks so much better. But yeah, this scene, I think this is mostly actually directed by the second unit director, which I was like, oh, weird. Michael Moore was the second unit director.
Michael Moore?
Yeah.
Like the Michael Moore?
No.
Damn. That's where he got his start?
Yeah.
That fucking stunt man that goes underneath a moving truck, one mishap away from being completely run over by a giant heavy truck.
Yeah.
That's one of the best stunts I've ever seen of all time.
Yeah, and there's only like maybe one thing you can notice about it, which is the film is sped up a little bit.
Okay.
And
I didn't.
So the truck was going a little slower than that, but still, dude, like that is just incredible looking, and no one makes movies like this except probably for John Wick doing these stunts like this anymore. It's just so it's in camera. There's no fucking effects. They just lifted the truck a little bit more and dug out a little trench so he could kind of get under it, Simple as that. Just put a guy under it.
Did you guys know? I know you've never been to Cairo, but Cairo's crazy because it's a desert and you've got pyramids and everything. And half mile down the road, it actually goes 1,000,000 feet into the air.
Oh yeah.
Onto these mountainous roads.
Oh.
And then another half mile down the road, it's in jungle, rainforest jungle.
Really?
That's a peculiar place.
It's crazy, man. Like, and it's cool because they took that road I'm talking about in this movie. For the stunts.
the famous road.
They took the famous road because you notice how they leave Cairo and then all of a sudden that truck goes flying off the 1,000-foot crevasse cliff.
Right.
And then there's like a rainforest. Yeah, it's crazy. It's called Highway 1 in Cairo.
Highway 1.
Yeah.
Highway 1,
Wow.
huh?
Yeah.
You couldn't think of anything
Nope.
else.
I actually was thinking of something else, and then I'm like, I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
It's a sign that says "This way to Oasis," and then they're just playing Wonderwall there. Maybe.
You're gonna be the one that, and it's based off the Ark's. It's the Ark's interpretation of what's happening. You're gonna be the one that saves me.
Another question for you: how did they arrange pre social media and text messages and phone and cell phones? How did they arrange the hidden garage trick for Indy? Like, how did they arrange that?
Yeah.
How did he know that if he gets to this point in
They
Cairo,
coordinated
that pull in the garage, they're all gonna go, woo, hey, we're gonna set up a market. How did they set that
And
up?
how can they tell that like Indy's a good guy?
Right.
They don't speak the same language. It was this Salah going, dude, I'm looking at him on Find My Friends right now. He's coming. He's close. Set up the fake market. He knows where to go. He knows where to go.
They're probably like, well, what does he look like? He looks like he respects dogs. Well, what do the bad guys look like? They look like they would throw a watermelon on a dog. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we get you there.
Oh, that guy. All right. So he goes in the garage. He's like, look normal. It's like some guy just got a fake broom.
Yeah.
Like just doing
What are you
fake
sweeping?
things.
Stuff. I'm on
One
my
guy's
break.
like on a phone.
Sand in the desert.
Can you even out that sand over there? Thank you.
It's like raking sand. Like, what do you hit my ball over there? Okay.
Do you think if you were cutting things out of this movie, do you think the steamer needs to be cut out of this? Like, because it's just a short. Okay, we got the Ark. We're on the steamer. Now it's stolen by the Nazis
This is
again.
kind of where the movie dips a little for me.
Yeah.
It's just like the whole ending here is it's not like ever boring, like I said.
No,
But
I agree.
So there's something about it where just maybe the pacing of it slows down a little bit, and this scene really isn't needed. Yeah,
I like the boat captain a lot, though.
yeah. Katana.
Katanga?
Katanga. Has he ever been in anything? I don't know. I liked it, but I was also like, couldn't the Nazis just have defeated Jones and taken the Ark, and they found out where it was and they went to go find it or something?
I mean, it's got to give you at least a little bit back, I think, as an audience of like, okay, maybe they are going to get out of this again.
Yeah.
But there's so much more of
You're
this
right.
movie.
We needed a little bit of a love connection again, too.
Yeah.
Sort of.
We
Another
need that little bit of
slowdown.
romance.
Yeah.
And this is one of two of Spielberg's, I think, favorite scenes of this movie is kind of that romantic scene between them on the boat.
Yeah.
It's really cute too.
It is.
I like it a lot.
Where doesn't it hurt? Here.
Yeah.
You know, and they
Here. You're pointing to your wiener.
here.
It is. You're
That's,
right.
that's your butthole.
Well,
Doesn't hurt.
It
Pucker up.
It is really good. But I did have a question. They never addressed it. Why did when the Ark was on the boat in the cargo bay, why did it black itself out?
I don't know.
You know how it has that shot where it just like starts on fire kind of, and it blacks out the wording that was on there?
because it's a Hebrew treasure, and it knows that it's got this Nazi casing on it.
Okay. So there was Nazi symbols on
There was
it.
there was a swastika on it with like the bird, that iron bird or whatever.
So you're saying it knows the hatred of what the symbol is. And
That's right.
I mean, like,
But at the end, when it's in an American crate, it's like America's never had like a stigma against Jewish people at all. No.
you guys, when we wrote these, when Moses wrote this, commandment number 11 was eventually there'll be a country named America.
Yeah.
And that is good. That
Stars
is good.
and-
We love America.
Stars and stripes. We're all for it.
In fact, Jesus was from America. Little known fact.
Looks like one of the Bee Gees, in fact.
Our friend LD kid, LD.
Yeah.
I went and saw him. He played a concert recently. Like this very LD's dad was black, mom was white, And he's been very great on like So he was playing a show and there was this large crowd of like old white people sitting in chairs. And he's like, you know what? The one thing I know is he's like, I know that Jesus wasn't white. And I saw people just be like, oh my God. Like I felt super, I kind of went, I got to go. This is, and then he started doing a rap medley. I was like, no, I really like this.
Okay. No, this is great.
That's a dumb story.
Stick
Anyway.
around.
I love the line where it's not the years, honey, it's the mileage. He came up with that on his own.
Did he really?
I love that so much. I want to use that in my life now because I'm getting there. But yeah, I love the love aspect of it, and it works really well for me, other than it could have in other movies. But.
Make that your Instagram bio.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm gonna put it as my MySpace tag.
Nice, dude.
One other question though. Never understood this as a kid. Still don't understand what happened here. How did Indy swam to get on that sub, right? Did the sub just not do what a sub does and go down? There's multiple Did Indy actually sneak onto the sub before it submerged, and then after it came out of the water, he got back out? Did the sub just not ever go underwater like a sub does, or did he just hang from the periscope?
They shot that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So that was like they took that out, and this is like one of the only other plot holes of the whole movie. Really, is that he just is off that submarine. He's on and off. We don't ever see how or why. But there is footage of him just like holding on to a periscope, like
the periscope's
water.
Turning around, just like looking at stuff,
almost like they see him,
See each other. Whoa!
That's what was going through my head. Was like, I don't know what I thought as a kid, but those were like the only three options of what could happen. And there's no way he snuck onto the sub and got off of it without being found. So. Yeah. Either the sub just didn't do a sub thing, or he hung from the periscope.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is where it does fall apart for me a little bit. Where it's that mixed with the arc. What they never like really explain why it does what it does, and
or what it exactly did.
Yeah,
let's get to it in the final scene. So on the island, Jones ambushes the Nazi group and threatens to destroy the Ark, but it is captured. The Nazis restrain Jones and Marion at the testing site as Belloc ceremonially opens the Ark. It releases the spirits, flames, and bolts of energy that kill Belloc, Taut, and the assembled Nazis before sealing itself shut. Jones and Marion survive and visit Washington, D.C., where the Ark is stored for safekeeping.
So yeah, he threatens to blow it up with the RPG and shit too. And this is another thing where I'm just like, I get the notion of it, like how Belloc says, like, you want to see what's inside of it as much as 100%. I do. I get that, but it's just like as the movie goes on, it's like, okay, if he got caught one more time, I'd be like out of it. I think, like caught, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just you keep doing this, and it's getting a little old. Just that, like getting caught and then like escaping, getting caught and escaping. I know it's like the whole swashbuckling hero thing, but over and over again, it gets a little old.
But there's thoughts about AJ. You probably read about this, like. There's many thoughts that Indiana Jones is not good at what he does.
Oh, yeah.
That he literally did nothing. He did nothing throughout this whole movie.
Yeah.
Have you read about that?
Yeah, like it's that he is the big nerd that he actually is back at the museum.
Yeah.
That he just goes after these things and he just gets super lucky.
He didn't actually affect the plot in any way. In fact, the fan theory is that if Indiana Jones had not actually interfered at that airport and had not destroyed that plane, that Ark would have made it back to Hitler, and Hitler would have opened it, and Hitler and all of his top guys would have died. World War II would have never started or would have immediately ended right
there.
The
first Operation Valkyrie.
There we go, see?
Indiana Jones actually caused World War II.
Tom Cruise is sitting there just like with his one googly eye, and he's just like, he's just like, what's in that thing?
I got
what's in that thing?
That was a bunch of weird lights and spirits and shit that'll come out and freak you out.
What? Open it.
Well, I'm gonna leave this suitcase here, and I'm gonna get out of here.
No, I like that. I think that there's a lot of that's true, where like we've done some movies where it's had this kind of character in it where it's just like he affects the plot but like Ryan Gosling and Nice Guys, kind of.
Okay, yeah.
Where he's really not doing anything, and honestly getting himself into more trouble and other people.
He's
in more
doing stuff
trouble.
to himself.
Yeah,
It does beg the question of, like, let's say it just got back to him and, like, he gets away with Marion or whatnot, right? And, well, at least we got away. And it does make it back. Who's to say that, like, is Hitler, like, really into all this stuff that he could have controlled this and not Belak, right? Like, because this obviously must be, it's an uncontrollable power by everything we've seen. And it's not like Hitler's going to march this out somewhere and then release it all.
Well, and to Shaun's point, like it just doesn't tell us really what happened. Were they killed and taken to heaven? Because it went up. All the bad people went upwards to heaven. Or was that, or like if Indy and Marion had kept their eyes open, would they have been killed too? Or is there this weird way of knowing who's good and who's bad? Because like their ropes are like purposely burned off their hands, as in like you're free to go, you're good people.
Yeah, we like you. You're Americans.
What if they did steal? What if they did actually get it and take it back to America, and then they opened it? Would it have done that?
Right.
That's what I wish they kind of would have got into a little bit more.
Yeah, there's all this leading up to it, and we get a good explanation of like the amulet, right, and the staff of Ra, like all this stuff. We get a lot of this, but we don't get much of if there's any way to actually control it, I guess, and why it works the way it does. And if I was going to say anything, guys, I think the most unbelievable part of this movie is that if my wife and I were tied up and I said, babe, keep your eyes shut. Keep your eyes shut. She'd be like, okay, I'm keeping them shut. And then peeking. And I'm like,
your wife's dying immediately.
She's dying immediately.
Is that when they're like, oh, hey, babe, don't look behind you?
Yeah.
But that's AJ and Elisha, and we haven't talked to them in years. Huh?
Where?
Who? Where? What did you just say? I have no idea. I just heard don't look, and I'm going to do that.
Where'd you hide my Christmas presents? I'm not telling you. Well, I'm going to find them anyways. I know. She's always going to peek.
It's the principle of the fact.
She's always going to peek.
Shaun, we're going to consult. I'm hoping you might know this. We're going to consult the Jarrett Layoff Confused Breakfast actor database. Do you know what actor in this movie has been in the most films that we have reviewed so far?
Motherfucker.
It's so like I would hope
Extremely
you
obscure.
would know this, but I would never blame you if you didn't know this. It's not Harrison Ford. This is our second Harrison Ford movie. I don't believe Karen Allen's been in anything yet. Do you want me to help you? Because it's tough.
John Ray Davies?
No, Ted.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Ted Grossman. Do you know who Ted Grossman is?
Oh, it sounds familiar.
Ted Grossman was a Peruvian porter in this movie. He was the dead guy in the dead FBI agent in Goonies in the icebox, which also means that he was the guy that got killed by the shark in the lagoon in Jaws. He's been in 3, remember?
Wow.
He's been in 3 movies. The only there was a bunch of people too. The one that we do need to point out was William Hootkins. William Hootkins plays one of the American suits.
Okay.
Major Eaton. Did you recognize Major Eaton at all? That's Eckhart from Batman.
Oh my God. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's Eckhart from Batman, who's also Porkins in Star Wars, the X-Wing fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Holy crap.
looks a lot like he looks terrible in Batman.
Yeah, he does.
He had
Awful.
a rough couple years between this and
we
that.
went in on him in Batman.
He was our most punchable face in Batman. In fact, do we got to go punch him in the face?
one.
Okay, here we go.
Hit it! If we were on a train to go punch a face, I'm on board.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's the one German who just like kind of slyly sits there with his feet up and is listening to their record.
Oh,
That motherfucker. I don't like him. He's like, the job's done. What do I got to worry about? You know?
Yeah, his
That's a
name's
good one.
like Heimlich or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hans Heimlich.
I think it's Heimlich maneuver.
Heimlich's maneuver.
You got one, man?
I think it's the same guy because it's the guy who throws the watermelon or the fruit and hits
the same guy.
hits the dog. We don't see it actually hit the dog, but you hear like, and I'm like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I actually, funny enough, this will be the second time I punch him. I want to punch Major Eaton, the second suit.
Okay.
The William Hootkins character, like he just rubs me wrong. He's the other guy's like genuinely interested and like we got it back, and this guy's just like yeah. I just
Is
don't
that
like.
Eckert? Is that,
Yeah, Eckhart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Who? Top man.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then it was the thing with him and Marion at the end. Like I think it's the San Francisco. Like
There's something that might
Congress,
be DC or something. Because
I think where they shot it anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry. So that wasn't in there. They went back and did that because there wasn't any closure with that.
Okay.
It was just like, yeah, I guess that's fine. But then, like, they hide the Ark in the U.S. vault.
Yeah. Well,
and that's never brought into the sequels ever.
Do
I don't
you
think,
not like
really.
that?
I just didn't, when I first watched it, it didn't make sense, and now I watch it, it's like, oh.
Well, okay. So I had a comment on this. I don't think we really talked about the melty face much.
No.
Oh yeah, let's do
No, it's
that.
too spooky.
I wanted to talk about this because I do think it's important, and I'll come back to all the boxes, but it's like okay, that right there, that was the creepiest thing, and I finally, guys, I'm proud to say now in 2023, I was able to watch this entire scene.
Really?
Yeah.
Couldn't as a
Wow,
child.
dude.
I couldn't
turned away immediately
not
as a
do
child,
it.
but you actually made it through on this
I made
one.
it through,
Good for you, buddy.
and I'm pretty stoked.
You know
for
what it
myself.
is?
I have some other things that you could watch now.
What?
Let's not.
Okay.
Okay, this
One at a time, dude. You literally
Getting
made
too
this man
spooky.
watch The Evil Dead,
I
which
did.
prepared him for this moment.
It's true.
I think so.
It's true.
Small moves.
Yeah.
Small moves.
Okay.
This is. I mean,
I got another one for you.
All
Just when
right.
you're ready, let me know.
all right. Well, give me.
Wait till
give me
he
another
hears. Wait till
3
you hear
years.
what summer 70s.
I know. Well, I think that this is an important scene though, because we see it happen twice over, like, and then you see what happens to Belloc too, and that was the part that was going to make this in our movie.
That's right.
You know, and you mentioned it before. This was not PG-13 didn't exist at this point.
Until Temple of Doom.
God, are you kidding? I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that.
PG-13 didn't exist.
That's
at
why
this
I
point.
watched it in my own house. I was like, how could he let me watch this?
Yeah,
That's
see?
why. Well, we're parents. We're guiding him.
PG. Oh, that should be just fine. Oh my god. But that head explosion was too much, and they've superimposed that fire over the top to just kind of wash it out just enough, you know, to make it suitable. And then, so that was enough for like all the people to be like, no, this is rated R unless you fix that head explosion. Well, we put fired over it. Oh, that makes it better. That's worth a PG. Yeah, you get a PG
Oh, so it's
now.
a head explosion from hell.
Yeah,
we like that better.
Fantastic.
I do want, in that aspect, I want to talk about how violent this movie is. Like,
Yeah.
even like the gunshots and shit. You know, when Marion fucking kills like 11 people in this movie.
She's got a higher body count than Indy does.
Yes.
It's proposed. Yeah.
Okay.
She
And
might
that's-
have the highest body count of anyone in the movie.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even like when she's shooting those guys, you can see red spray, but that was actually red cayenne pepper, and it was it was
Ow.
bothering the stuntman, obviously.
God.
But like even when people get shot in the shootout in the bar, like, you know, there's red splats on their head. Like, I love
It is.
that this movie is this violent. Like, it makes it even more. I mean, violent movies are catharsis. You know, that's I like seeing violence in movies. It's fun to me. And I like that they went that far with it. And then it makes it better for me. I want movies like this nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
movies are just kind of safe. Like, fucking blow someone's head off in a PG movie. I don't care.
Yeah. My
Pixar.
Pixar. Come on, Pixar. Let's see some head explosions. Let's see Shrek's dome just go.
I want to see that dong.
Let's see that Shrek dong and dome just out the door. All right. Anyways, the final scene of them, and it says, and you got Porkins, and he says, top men. And then they're wheeling it away. I will tell you that when I was younger, all I thought was, wow, they got a shit ton of arcs.
Whoa.
Dude, no wonder they got them all right there. Look at all those arcs.
I never
There's
thought
a
of
lot
that.
of art. It's the arc room.
Wow, there's
The arc room.
How many
It's
arcs?
under the Congress building.
yeah. They must really like their arcs.
You know, because America.
Yeah.
I actually liked it. I liked the ambiguity of it, and
Yeah.
then like the wonder of like, holy shit, what if there really is a place like that?
Yeah.
I like that. And I like that they don't explain that. Other things I wish they would have, but that was cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's it.
What do you think,
Well,
boys?
we in prop.
Oh, you want to go propers?
Ooh, here's a prop.
I said it first. I'm grabbing that whip.
You can't have that.
I want a whip. I think I need a whip. I think I'd be good at it. Okay, bye.
I'm thinking about lately. I've been thinking about going shirtless in the summer.
Yeah.
But like I see a lot of young kids. They're like jogging shirtless, but they're always wearing a necklace.
Okay.
Which is weird to me.
Oh, yeah.
But no, so I think I'm gonna wear necklaces. I want like the medallion necklace. I want the medallion, and I want it to have burnt tot skin on.
Well, it's
you
gonna
want
be
the skin on
It's
there.
gonna be burnt on your chest for sure.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I
Nice.
want that. That's what I want. I'm gonna wear that when I go jogging.
Yogging.
Yeah.
Wow, gorgeous. Well, guys, I think I want Tot's glasses post melting,
Just
post melt.
soupy and goopy.
Yeah, I just want to pick him up and just kind of shake him off, and then check what his prescription was like. Be like, huh, and then put him in my pocket.
Yeah. Okay. Good information.
That's all I would do. Well, none of us took the Ark.
Nope.
There it is.
Or the squatting lady at the beginning.
All right, everybody, we have dissected this movie with a modernized, stripped away the nostalgia. It's time to give it a modern day rating. AJ, what do you think about this movie?
I think it's awesome. I think it's a great movie. I think getting to rewatch this, and I love that even in like these remasters and everything, you still, like I said earlier on, you still get to kind of like feel the grit and the grain of this movie. You still feel like you can hear it at any given point, and I love that about Indiana Jones because I feel like I'm watching this almost kind of a Western vibe movie and watching a hero that is a hero by accident, you know? I do really think it's funny when you mentioned that had he done anything or not done anything, this story probably would have worked out better. I think that's hilarious. That all being said, though, I do really enjoy it. It's like you said, Mike, this is my Indiana or my Harrison Ford. This is how I picture him in that hat with the whip, everything, right? So I am going to go ahead and give this an 8.3.
8.3 for AJ. Shaun, what about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cliche to say at this point, but Steven Spielberg is a goddamn master. Like, it's just, no matter what he does, and like this team of George Lucas and Lawrence Kasdan and Steven Spielberg just worked goddamn swimmingly, man. And Spielberg will take a concept like this where he could have just been like, yeah, I'm gonna do handheld the whole time or something, you know, kind of make it easy on himself or rely more on the effects that he did. But no, he takes the time to film make, even just the exposition scenes. Like, he takes time to block and stage all the actors. And it's just so well helmed. And that's mostly where my rating is coming from. And then you add in this just a fun fucking movie and it never lets up. I like the violence, like I said. I like all the actors. I agree with you guys. It's the best Harrison, except for the newborn. All right. But yeah, it just kind of falls apart, like I said, a little bit towards the end, but it doesn't really make it not fun. You know, I still think it's a great fucking time. It reminds me a little bit of the feel of Goonies, and so I'm gonna go a little bit lower than that, an 8.49.
8.49, you guys. We're pretty spot on this. I think I agree with everything you said. I'm very excited to check out Temple of Doom next because, like, I always thought Temple of Doom was my favorite Indiana Jones, and I'm not sure now because this was such a fun rewatch. There are ways this movie could have been better, but it's fantastic. I'm going to call it an 8.55, actually, is where I'm going to go with this. So by the hair of his chin, executive producer Josh Miller, who picked this movie, he didn't pick it. He's the executive producer on it. He finally got me his email, so we're going to go back and see if his nostalgic score changes. He said, first off, let me say I'm pretty excited today. I'm at the airport right now flying to Illinois to go see this band. They're called Something Tornadoes. Taking some time to write this and taking a break from TikToking. FYI, that's where I learned about you guys. Raiders is a great pick for this month as the fourth Indiana Jones movie releases. As the fourth. Yes, correct. I know. Some will mention another movie that shall never be named. Aliens. Frickin' Aliens. South Park said it best. George Lucas fucked my childhood. Sure, I was an adult when it came out, but I'm still a kid. I'm still a kid at heart. I definitely didn't see Raiders in the theater, but I did certainly see it at home. I remember the first movie I saw in theaters was Platoon at like age 9.
Jesus.
If you ask me what my favorite Indiana movie is, it's Raiders or Temple. Or, well, could it be Crusade? They were all amazing. All of them were so memorable. The monkey brains from Temple, the horrifying melting guy from Raiders, the aging dude from Crusade. I would take Indiana Jones movies over any of the original 3 Star Wars. Wow. Have I mentioned I love this movie nostalgically an 8.8? So he's actually going to bring us up in score on 8.8. Still pretty low. But let's see what his modern day thought is. He said, like many movies that I've had the opportunity to review for this show, I've seen this movie countless times. Every time I watch it, it's no better or worse than the last. That's relatively good. So trying to be more critical, more detailed this time. Did I find more flaws? Sure. Are there continuity errors? Absolutely. Are there just outright goofs? Of course. Yes, completely. It's so hard to believe this thing is 42 years old. It's definitely showing its age, but it's still just a ton of fun to watch. For me, what would be absurd in another movie or franchise is just Indiana Jones here. I don't mind giving it a pass. Now, fast forward to Crystal Skull for some reason, I can't be as forgiving. Maybe because it was so long in between, and if it's just not as good, it shouldn't have been done. Maybe I should give it a shot, but I'll finish with my score. I love this movie just as much as I did before. My score stays the same, 8.8.
Wow.
So you put that all together, guys, we are an 8.54.
Hell yeah, I feel so good about
Do you feel good about that? Do you want to know where that lies? 8.54 slides that into slot number 14. That is 0.01 better than The Shining. And that is slightly lower than Aliens.
Okay. You know what? Just because of the Vivian Kubrick thing and the snakes.
Yeah.
I'm
cool.
okay with that.
I like that.
That's exactly
you fucked
why.
This up, Vivian.
It's your fault. It's your fault.
Well, thanks, Josh. We appreciate you, as always, being executive producer. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for being here. Tune in next week. Back to the Future 2. I think this is our first sequel, like first double up that we've done at this point.
Yeah. Aliens, but yeah, we didn't do the first one yet.
Yes, so this will be the first time we've done a second part of a movie. And after that, Flight of the Navigator. Pretty excited.
Baby.
If you don't know what that is, you got time. You've been warned. Go watch it. Because that's going to be a good one. If you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year, Wayne's World.
Oh, yeah.
How was that a year ago?
Come on.
Felt like we were here a month ago recording
Yeah,
that.
no kidding.
Everyone loves that movie.
Yep. And don't forget, we have a voicemail. Call us 319-804-9596. Leave us some feedback like today's caller.
Hey, this is Nathan over here in Ames, Iowa. I'm loving your guys' podcast. I'm listening for about a year or so now. I just wanted to ask, have you guys noticed that every time you guys do a podcast, that the movie you guys do kind of pops up on all the Netflix and Peacock and all those other forums that they're now popular online? I noticed it first with Starship Troopers last week and kind of looked back and looked some stuff up and found that a lot of your movies you guys do kind of make the Watch Now popular line there on all those streaming platforms. So good job. Way to go. Love you guys. Have a great day.
Yeah, it's a proven fact. They've been following us. We've been told that HBO Max, Prime, Hulu, that they have a person that works for each of their companies that just listens to our podcast.
Yep.
And is made aware of what we're going to be doing next, and then they get it in line.
They
We've
have
been told
exceptions sometimes, though, where it's just like, Airborne? No, keep that on YouTube.
Ooh, Super Mario Brothers. We're not gonna put that out.
Nowhere to be found. Bury it. Which
bury that.
They tried to save us, maybe.
They're trying to do us a favor.
Thanks, Nathan. I appreciate you listening in, and you're from Ames, right?
Is that what he said?
I'm in Ames all the time. So
you guys should meet up, have lunch.
We should meet up and have lunch.
There you go. Go have lunch with Shaun. You guys, make sure you give us a whole 5-star sandwich on the podcast review platforms.
Professional.
That we're there. All right, Spotify, Apple, give us that review, guys, and write something while you're at it because we love reading them in our spare time. And please check us out on YouTube and any other social media. Search for Confused Breakfast, just at Confused Breakfast. We'd love to see you there.
Go to confusedbreakfast.com and search our merch store. You can get some shirts. You can get some koozies. You can get some Arks of the Covenant.
Some bullwhip
from our warehouse.
We'll wrap it up in a box and put an America flag on it because Nazi sick. And you can go to that same damn website and see our ratings and see where this landed, see where it landed for the show overall and individually. Thank you. Goodbye.
And please support all of our sponsors. Use all our promo codes. Get us on patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. Directly sponsor this show. We are produced by the Upload Media Group in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We got Craig at the controls. Uploadmediagroup.com to learn more. And we are a part of the Cloud 10 iHeart Podcast Network. Learn more there, cloud10.fm. I think that's it.
It's not the years. It's the mileage.
Keep your eyes shut.
I want to say one, too.
It's a movie podcast.
Can I say one, too? I want to say, you want to go see God? Let's go together. I got nothing better to do.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, bye.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh, is his birthday?